Hi there, I'm Rich, and we're here to talk about the Vevor all-in-one mini chainsaw slash pruning saw slash pole saw. These mini chainsaws have been taking the world by storm lately. The first one I saw was maybe a year ago. They've probably been around longer than that, and they've become very, very popular since then. They're incredibly powerful for what they are. They really surprised me, and this one is no exception. Matter of fact, just the other day I went and cut my Christmas tree with something that big right there. You know, you wouldn't expect you could do it. But I want to do it, give it a little heavier duty test here in a minute. But first, let's talk about what's in the package. The chainsaw itself is got a, I believe it's a 6-inch bar. Now it says here it's a 5-inch bar, okay, with the chain. Nice thing about this is it's got an automatic tensioner. You see this knob over here? That's to loosen and tighten, and there's a spring in there, so it'll tighten itself. You don't have to go through and retighten it all the time. That's a great feature as far as I'm concerned. Working with a regular chainsaw and having to stop, retension your chain, that's nice to have that built right in. It runs off of a 4 amp-hour lithium-ion battery, so you've got enough power to probably do, you know, at least a good hour's worth of cutting. I'm not really sure. I haven't run it out yet, but it'll do quite a bit of cutting for you. Of course, with downtime, you may extend that to a couple hours because you don't cut all the time. You got to move the stuff you've cut and all that. Charger comes with it, a little bottle of oil with it, and they're smart enough to put the bottle of oil into a bag. Yes, the bottle did leak a little bit, but you can't blame them for that. It also comes with some cotton work gloves and safety goggles. Important item. When you're working with one of these, you do want to consider safety. Chainsaws are one of the most dangerous tools we work with, and just because it's little doesn't mean it's not dangerous. You can slice your leg or your arm off with something like this very easily. Well, not off, but open with something like this very, very easily. So you've got the saw itself, and then you've got a pole attachment that allows you to turn this into a pole saw that has an 8-inch reach, or if you consider yourself, they say you can reach up to about 14 feet with it, which sounds about right to me. Now, I've got another electric pole saw. It's not a cordless one. It's one with the plug-in that I've had for a number of years. It's heavy and it is extremely awkward to work with, especially at height. This saw is light enough that when you get up to height, it's not awkward. Yeah, the balance is still a little off because you've got most of your weight up at the top, but it's not, you know, you're not sitting there going like this, like you're the guy with the fishing pole and the fishing pole is controlling you. It's much, much easier to control, and that right there meant it was good to me. Now, I have to confess, I had a little bit of problem. It's not the saw's fault. It's my fault. You see this little black piece right here? This is an adapter, or you could call it a battery holder. It comes attached to the saw, and your battery comes packaged separately. Now, lithium-ion batteries normally are packaged separately. So I put the battery on there, took the blade guard off. Yep, it runs. So then I decided, let's put it on the pole. So I took the battery off the battery holder, leaving the battery holder on the saw, right? And I found that the battery would not fit on the pole. And neither would the saw. Not Vevor's fault, my fault. That comes off. That goes on here. Now the battery fits on here just like it's supposed to. You want to make sure it clicks into place. And the saw clicks in at the other end. So, don't make the same mistake I made, okay? All right, let's talk about the features of the saw itself. I already mentioned about the tensioner. I love that. I love the idea that it tensions itself. It's got a ambidextrous lock for the trigger, okay? So if you're left-handed or right-handed, it doesn't matter. You can operate that trigger. That's nice. My brother's left-handed. He always complains about everything in the world being made for us right-handed folks. It has a built-in oiler. So you open this cap up right here, fill it with the oil that they give you. Granted, you'll eventually have to get some more oil, but okay. It's not their job to supply oil for the rest of your life. And there's a little bulb on here, kind of like on a starter on a chainsaw, on a gas chainsaw. And to oil it, you hold it with the blade down and you pump it 3 to 5 times, let the oil drip down. Now, oiling a chainsaw is critical, folks, because you've got metal on metal here. The bar is a track for the chain, and there's a slot in it, and there's little tabs coming out from the chain that go into there. So you got metal on metal contact. You've got to oil it or it's going to wear out. You're going to wear out your chain, you're going to wear out your bar. Now both are replaceable, but why have to buy them if you can take care of them? While we're on that, let me say this. Chainsaws have to be sharpened. The chain teeth are actually a fairly soft steel, and you really should count on sharpening it, say, for every hour's worth of use. So if you go out one day and you're doing a bunch of trimming, when you get done, sharpen your chainsaw, okay? They're not hard to sharpen. People think it's a big deal and you got to pay somebody to do it. You need a special file for it, which you can probably get at any place that sells chainsaws. And this one, I've already measured, it requires one that's 100,000ths of an inch, okay? It's 1/10 of an inch in diameter. And it's literally, you run that through following the angle of the existing blade edge, and just run it through like 3 times, and then move on to the next teeth and go through all your teeth that way, and then put it away. Then the next time you want to use it, it's ready for use. I see guys all the time having to buy new chains for their chainsaws when all they need to do is take 5 minutes or less and sharpen their old chain. Okay, so that's something to keep in mind. All right. With the oiler, you shouldn't have to replace that chain for years. You don't have the big safety bar that you have on a big chainsaw, but you've got a safety right there. As you can see, it kicks back out of the way, but it's always between your hand and that chain, and that's important. And I like that it's spring-loaded and it's there and you don't have to worry about it. Okay, one of the other really neat things about this setup that I found that is absolutely wonderful for cutting trees is that there's a adjustable head on the pole part. So I can go from 90 degrees here to 180 degrees to all the way back, okay? And it locks every 22.5 degrees. So we got 90 degree settings, 45 degree settings, 22.5 degree settings. So you can set whatever angle is best for the cut you're trying to make. And that may change mid-cut. You know, you might start cutting and then, okay, I got to adjust it. And it's very easy. You saw how quick and easy I adjusted it. There's also, this is important, there's a safety latch here for the saw on the top of the pole. That's this right here. And you want to make sure you latch that so that the saw cannot slip out of the pole when you're operating it. Now to extend it, all you have to do is flip this open, this toggle clamp, and extend it out and then relock it, okay? So you can extend this out to about 50% more than its original length, giving you a fairly good reach getting up there into those trees where you need to make your cuts. So all in all, this looks like a really great saw, but you know what I want to do? I want to try using it. So let's go out and see what we can cut with this. We've got this oak tree sitting in the front of our house, and as you can see, there's a couple branches sticking down there that just need to come off. I thought, what better way of testing out this saw than on something real? And hey, if you can cut through oak, you can cut through anything. Now that was pretty impressive. I don't know if you could tell, but I cut through two 2-inch branches and one 3-inch branch, and I did it in a matter of seconds, literally. It cut very clean, it cut very quickly, and it was quiet, which was wonderful. You know, usually with a gas chainsaw, you got to have on hearing protection. I didn't have any hearing protection on. All I had was my face shield to protect my face, and I actually didn't even need that. But, you know, we play it safe. Always a good idea, especially with a tool like a chainsaw, that you go for safety. So I would say, yeah, it does the job. But, you know, I'm a picky guy. I'm going to go a little harder on this. One of the things they say about chainsaws in general is that they'll cut a diameter that's roughly double the length of the bar. Now, I don't know about that, but I want to try and cut something that's bigger than what this bar is and see what it does for me. Now, to be fair here, I may be biting off more than the saw can chew, but I want to find out how good it is. So this is a piece of, I think, eucalyptus, but don't quote me on that. And it is about 5 inches by about 7 or 8 inches, okay? We're going to see. I may not go all the way through it, but let's see what it'll do. Okay, I'm impressed. That's quite a cut for such a little saw. Now you notice it bogged down a couple of times on me there, okay? That's a lot of friction is what's causing that. But hey, if it can go through that, you know, there's not much that I'm not likely to be able to cut with this thing unless it's just plain too big. That did a great job, and it did it in less than 2 minutes. Now, you might notice that the chain here is a little bit loose. Now, that's because this is a new saw, it's a new chain. I want to show you how good this automatic tensioning system is here. I'm going to loosen up the screw here, and boom, that's it. It sprung out, it tightened up, and I just tightened that nut up again. You know, this is a well-designed tool. That's the type of convenience that makes a tool easy to work with. It's easy to oil it, it's easy to adjust it. It cuts like a dream, even in the pole configuration. It's light, it's easy to handle. I call this one a definite win.